the yesterday's discussion. Today we will be starting with structural design activity, and the very basic and fundamental activity is that defining the structural load path. Let's see how exactly we need to do it. Okay. So this is the architectural plans we are having for our working. Okay, and for now I will be deleting all of the columns that were marked in earlier. Okay, so that we will be starting fresh in defining the column locations. Guys, as I said, the minimum column dimension we will be assuming to start with is 200 by 450, and we are first drawing a column. As you guys can notice this command box where what are all the commands I am using. Okay, we are also hatching it solid with color 9. Okay, so this is a column dimensioned 200 by 450. Okay, and we are starting the column positioning from one corner of the building. Okay, let's say I will be, see, this line, you can notice this is the property line of this side, wherein this line is the setback line. You cannot have any column outside this setback line. So to start with, you need to be having your column placed well within your setback line. Okay, this is my setback line I have placed in my columns. This is the typical level architectural drawing, and to start with, I have placed one of my column and we are starting from one corner of the building. Okay, now as I discussed yesterday, we will be restricting the column to column spanning somewhere between 4 to 6 meters to restrict the beam depths well within the 450 to 600. Okay, so on placing this here, I will be copying the same location to the other wall. There is another wall, another architectural wall here. This is one single unit. Okay, I have placed one of my column starting from one of the corner, and another column is placed in the other wall. Okay, ultimate intention is we need to conceal all of our columns within the architectural walls. So you can notice all of these are architectural walls here. Okay, this architectural plan contains a staircase here and a lift. You will be accessing to this floor. Okay, this is your architectural plan. You will be entering into this floor using this lift as well as this staircase. Okay, you are having various number of units here. This is one unit, this is another unit, Likewise, you are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 number of units in one single floor. Okay, each floor contains 7 number of units. Okay, and this being the main wall, and all of these white lines are the architectural wall layouts, partition wall layouts. Okay, these walls are the architectural walls, and we need to provide our columns in such a way that all of our columns should get concealed within these architectural walls. This architectural wall is being 200 thick. Okay, sometimes if they are using mud bricks, clay bricks, then they will be provisioning the thickness to 230 mm. Since this in this project they are proceeding further with the solid blocks, the cement solid blocks, they are going ahead with 200 thick walls, and my column width cannot be more than this 200. Hence, to begin with, we have assumed 200 width column, and the minimum dimension we will be provisioning to any column will be 450. So we have started with column size of 200 by 450, and we started locating the columns from one of the corner of the building. Okay, after positioning our first column, the same line we will be considering one more column, such a way that this location of the column is such a way it is getting concealed well within our architectural walls. Okay, and as we noticed here, the column to column spacing is 4.18 meters. Okay, now similar way, I will be again copying my beams here, sorry, columns here. I can do either ways. I will just check with the column to column spacing. It is just 2.25 meters. So I still have a choice of moving these columns further. Further in the sense, I am positioning my columns further here. Okay. Now with this location, my column to column spacing here is almost 3.75. Okay. And you can notice we have also located it in such a way that perpendicularly it has a wall here. The main intention is to consider a beam here. The beam has to run again well within the walls. Okay, that we will come again with next activity. Next, we have now located 4 of our columns. For the simplicity of working, I am taking all of these columns inside a block. We have a command called block in AutoCAD. Structural columns. So this is my block now. See, now all of these columns what I am working will be in one single block. Okay, you can save that block and come out. If you select one of the column, all of the columns inside that structural column block will be getting selected. And when you getting into that block, see, now if you select this column and right click you will get a dialog called edit block in place, structural column block. If you are moving inside that block, you can only edit these columns. No other elements will get edited. See, I am trying to move, I am trying to delete, nothing is happening. Other than these 4 columns or other than these elements or objects inside this block, you cannot edit any of the objects. Only you can edit those objects which are inside this block. You can still continue adding number of objects into the block. I think we need to have, if there are any queries in between, you guys can chat here or raise your hands. Okay. I hope all of you are following our interaction or my discussion. If someone is not following it, you can raise your hands or you can just ping us here so that we will address it. Okay. I hope there are no such concerns so far. Assuming that I am proceeding further, if there are any queries, you can drop in your messages here. Okay. So we have positioned 4 of our columns here. Next, this unit is also very much identical. If you can notice here, this unit is mirror of the other. Okay, it is almost mirror of the other, and hence you can do one thing. You can just mirror in those 4 columns. Select those 4 columns, mirror. You are having the similar set of columns again here, but we had an issue of setback line here, which is not a concern in the other end. You can still drag it behind. These columns can be still dragged behind. Okay. See, if not, the more you are taking your column inwards, more will be your cantilever spanning. The beams or the slab that you need to be cantilevering, that cantilever span will be increased further. So to restrict the cantilever spanning, we are moving the column to the maximum possible end. Okay. After this, now the complete this stretch is finished. Okay. We will have to concentrate on column position in these areas. Now coming to this, we can start in with the column. Again, I am finding the wall that is suitable for locating my column. Okay. Here centrally I will be requiring a column, and having said that, I have considered again I may have to consider another additional column here. Okay. With this, I can run a beam here. Okay, with this arrangement, I can run a beam here. I can run a beam in this fashion. This fashion. Okay. And I will be requiring a column here. For which I will be maintaining the same grid. Okay. Right. What will I be doing is, you can also notice these 2 units are identical or mirror again. What I will be doing is, I will be, you need to have a reference line for mirroring the objects. Okay, the wall units are not exactly mirrored, hence we can just move it a bit. That won't be an issue. Okay, and again somewhere here I may consider another column. Okay, another column I will be considering in the same grid. Okay, and I believe these two units and will be the mirror of the downwards. So I will be now mirroring with a reference line. Okay, so far we have located almost all of our columns, but we have an issue here. See here, there is no wall continuation, and if I'll have to move it further upwards, I have two options. One is I can move the column further upwards, which will be obstructing the ventilation here. See this, I mean, in apartments, what they will be doing is they will be having a central ventilation well through which you will be directing ventilation to the various occupations. See, this being the living room of this unit, you are getting the ventilation from this window and ventilation to the kitchen from this window. You cannot block these windows. So the other option I will be having is reorienting my column. I will be rotating this column. Okay, and I will be again reorienting the same. Okay, and likewise you will have to check the possibilities of each and every column. Again, this will be an issue, so you will be reorienting the same even here. If you are considering these columns in this location, you cannot run a beam in this region. So what we will be doing is we will be moving it in alignment to this wall. Okay, and if you can notice here, this is a very big issue, which the column is happening right in the middle of your window, which is not at all acceptable. So what we can do here is move it, bring it somewhere here, fine, that is, and this is fine, not an issue. Hope this is fine. Yes, this is fine, not an issue. But the spanning may be too much. No, it is 5.6 meter hardly. We can proceed with this. But anyways, for this staircase, we can have one more set of columns here. For supporting the staircase, we will be requiring the columns here. And even for the staircase supporting, I am consider additional set of column here. Okay. Similar column will be located in all 4 sides of the staircase. Okay. So far, I think we have freezed most of it. Let me also consider one edge column. We shall think of removing this in the later stage. First, for now, for having the proper arrangement, we shall consider all of this and moving it till the edge of your setback line. Okay, this is the only area where we having still issues with the columns. And this dimension is almost say around 6.7 meters. Slightly it is exceeding the usual limit. Hence we are adding one more column in between. Okay, and this shall be considered in such a way that it is flushed with this wall. So with this, we have defined the required number of columns for the supporting of your beams. I am closing this block. See, this is what you call it as block. You have so far edited inside the block called structural columns, and in order to come out of this block, I will be clicking this save changes, saves reference edit working set changes. Okay, this number of columns is being done, positioning of the columns. Okay, I am getting it down. See, whatever change I do now here, the same thing will be reflecting in all number of blocks. Once I am inside the block, see, I am again copying another block. Okay. Now, let's say I am editing in one of the blocks. See, all of these 1, 2, 3, and 4, all of these are block with the naming structural column. Okay, now as soon as you have entered one of the block, all the 3 blocks get disappears. You can notice it again. As soon as you get into any one of the blocks, all the other 3 blocks will get disappeared. Okay, you can do any edit in one of the block, it will be reflected in all the 4 blocks. See, the same circle is visible here, here, and even here. You can now edit in any one of the block. It will be reflected in all the 4 blocks. Okay. So the advantage of working inside the block is now that you have finished positioning your columns here. Okay. And in order to see earlier, if you can notice, there were some unwanted objects were also present while working. In the course of working, there may be chances of addition of some unwanted objects like this. These are all unwanted objects which we have drawn and forgot to delete the same. And we cannot identify here with this mess or clumsiness. We cannot identify the unwanted objects presence. So what I will be doing is I will be copying the same block outside. Now what I will be doing is I can do any edit, okay, and all of these will be reflected in all of your blocks. Okay, positioning of my columns with the initial assumed dimensions. The initial assumed dimension is 200 by 450. To begin the analysis, we have assumed 200 by 450, and after analysis, if we find that the column is unsafe with 200 by 450, we will be further increasing the dimensions. Having said that, we need to increase the dimensions further. We cannot increase its width because that is fixed. That will be your wall thickness. You will be having only one option to increase its depth or length. Usually we are having two parameters in columns, one being its width, another being its depth. The shorter dimension will be termed as width, the longer dimension will be termed as depth, and height of the column will be termed as length. Okay, these are the three terminologies we will be using. If at all you need to increase its dimension, you are having only option to increase its depth. Okay, because there will be restriction for increasing its width because the wall thickness is already predefined. You cannot increase that width. Okay, so now I will be retaining only these columns, and I am now defining one more block called, defining the block is by command B for block. I am defining one more block called structural beams. Okay. Since I haven't selected any objects, it is giving a warning saying no objects have selected. What do you want to do? Continue it. Okay. What we shall do is we shall select a simple line. Again, we shall define the block structural beams. Redefine. This line has the name structural beams now. What I will be doing is I will be now drawing the beams, framing the beams through these columns. And again, my beams has to be framed such a way that it should be concealed within these walls, or at least it should be in line to these walls. Now here the wall thickness is just 100 mm. I cannot provide a beam of width 100 mm because we will be considering minimum beam width to be 200 mm. So at least my beam should be in line to this wall. Okay. Now to begin with, I am starting to draw the beams. Column to column I will be drawing. See, beams we will be indicating with two type of lines. I will show you how it is. On drawing the outer lines first, column outer to outer, it will be okay. On drawing outer lines first, we will be using the command called offset. Offset to a distance of 200 mm. So all of your beams will be offsetted. Okay. And additionally, I will be considering the beams here. Offset to a distance of 200 mm again. Okay. So this way we can also use one more command called copy, which you will be familiar with. Okay. And likewise, we can now start copying all the beams to the desired locations. Okay, I'm copying all the columns, sorry, all the beams to the desired locations. Once done with this, I will be further copying it here. You can use the combination of these commands, offset, copy, to achieve your beam layout. Okay, now additional, see here there is a gap, the location of this column is not proper. Okay, what do we need to do is we need to flush this column, flush these columns in line to this wall edge. Okay, with that being done, I am again getting inside the structural beams, and now I am using a command called stretch. Yes, stretch. Together I can bring those line back. Okay, this is how stretch helps. And additional beams will be required. I will be again copying the same. Okay. Likewise, you will have to, you can again mirror these beams to the lower side. For mirroring, I will be using a reference line. All of my beams almost in par. We have an issue with this beam because this beam is happening in between the occupancy. It is right upwards your sitting area. This is your sitting area of the living room, and hence we are now moving this beam back into this location. Okay, and with that, guys, I hope all of you are following it. If there are any concerns, you can feel free in dropping your message, or you can directly unmute yourself and start interacting with us. You are free to interact with us now. You can directly unmute yourself and start interacting. Yeah, so far I have no queries raised yet. Okay, and the same fashioned beams will be placed again here. Okay, so all we are doing here is we are framing the beams from column to column, and we are making it sure that all of the beams are mostly getting concealed within the architectural walls, or at least in line to the architectural walls. Okay. Likewise, we have completed most of our beam layout. Most of our beam layout is completed now. Okay, here the same issue. It is happening in between the occupancy. We are moving it back. Okay, and here we are joining this to the column location. Okay, here again we are joining this to the column location. So most of this area is now completed, and the only leftover is this, which we will be there is some error in the line drawing. Okay, you can notice we need to reposition this column. See, when I am inside the structural beam block, I cannot edit even the column. So what I need to do is I need to save the structural beam block and come out of it. Only after that I can select structural column block, get into it, and edit it. Okay. Right. Now again I'm getting into the structural beam block. Okay. So likewise we have almost freezing our beam layout too. See, now coming to this lift core, you will again have to be supporting this. See, for doing the same, the fundamental thing is positioning of your column, edit block. You need to have columns positioned in all 4 corners of the lift. 1, 2, 4. Okay. Again, we are getting into the beam block. Offset everything. 200, 200, 200, 200. So with this, we have completed drawing our beam layout. If you can notice, it will be something like this. See, our beam layout is somewhat completed. Now what will we be requiring to do is, we need to further fine tune this beam layout. Fine tuning in the sense, wherever it is not properly connected to the columns, we are stretching it. Okay. We are using the command called stretch. Okay, you can notice there is a discontinuity in the supporting system here. So we shall address it by only by looking at the architectural drawing. I cannot directly draw in the beam here because architecturally it may have other effects. Where exactly that beam is happening is here. So I cannot run through this beam inside this cutout. I cannot harm this occupancy. What I can do is, I am adding one more beam here and will be supporting these beams over these. Okay. Likewise, I will be adding one more beam here. Will be supporting it here. Okay. So now after this, we will have to be showing the proper indication of the beam lines. See guys, we are having different representations for the beam lines. See, the beam line at the edge, if you can notice, it is visible. Whereas the beam inside, that is flushing with your slab will be hidden inside your slab, and hence this will have to be hidden line. Okay, that needs to be represented. You can come here, go to okay. So this is the way that you are representing the beam lines such a way that, see, this slab top and your beam top is in the same level, and hence the inner line of this beam is not visible. It will be hidden inside your slab, whereas the outer line, the outer edge will be still visible. Okay, and likewise the interior beams, it will be completely invisible because it will be hidden inside your slabs. First we will be doing all of this as hidden. Okay, what I am doing is I am matching the property. I have used a command called match property, and the same thing I am using it to all the other beam lines, so that the same thing will be copied on it. Okay, see, whenever the beams are being connected to each other, we need to trim it. We need to show the continuity like this. What the command I made used is tr double enter. See, there is a discontinuity, tr double enter. So with this, the continuity of the beams is attained. Likewise, we will be doing the same thing here. Okay. So this is the way to indicate your beams, beam layout. This fine tuning can only be done in the outside. Okay. So now with this we have almost fine-tuned everything. Okay, the only leftover is, see, we need to also consider the cutouts. See, the indication of this cross mark implies there is no slab here. This is the region where you do not have any slab architecturally. This is the region where you do not have any slab architecturally, because for the motion or movement of your lift, you will not be having any slab. Okay, this is the region of no slab regions. This again in the staircase, you will be having no slab in that first floor level. Okay, Likewise, you can notice two cutouts. The no slab region will be termed as cutout regions. 1, 2, 3, 4. There will be 4 number of cutouts, and that you need to mark in here. You can do that well superimposed on the architectural plan. Whereas you need to provide this projection, slab projection, for supporting of this landscape activity. That slab projection shall be provisioned. Okay. And all of this cutout will be indicated with the help of red colored lines in the same fashion. Okay. So this red colored cross line indicates this region is no slab region. I am mirroring the same to the other side. Okay, it is being mirrored. Now, two more cutout areas are my lift and my staircase. Okay. Till here I will be having my slab. Till the first step, we will be having our slab. And only after the first step, we will be having the cutout at that floor level. If you can notice any staircase for that matter, till this platform, till the first step, you will be having the slab at that first floor level. Right after that, the staircase will go down. If you are having the slab in that particular level, that means you are obstructing the movement of the staircase. Hence, throughout this region, you will not be having any slab. Okay. So with this, see, this has been reflected here. We need to again mirror in these projections. Okay. So now the beam face that is next to this cutout will be visible. Only the beams face, the beam edges that is concealed within the slabs will be hidden. Otherwise, the beam faces will be visible. So this face will be firm line visible, and all of these faces will be again visible. This will be visible. This face will be visible. Okay. Likewise, we have completed our beam layout, and there is still furthermore tuning of this beam layout required, which we will be discussing in the upcoming class. For now, you are free to have discussion, or you can raise your concerns or queries with whatever we discussed so far. Thus, you can unmute yourself and you can do it.
So we need to match all the columns, right, in all the floors, right from basement to top level.
What's it?
We need to match the columns right from the basement to the top floor level.
Yes, the column should be continuous, right from the foundation till the terrace. The columns should be continuous. See, earlier we were having the systems called planted columns, floating columns. We will be naming them as planted columns or floating columns. But during the act of earthquake, such floating columns will be very much undesirable. Your plastic hinge formation will be created right beneath your or right next to your floating column, and hence that will lead to the failure mechanism of your structure. So we are avoiding the floating columns, okay, and we will be having the columns continuously from footing till terrace, and hence we have considered the typical level first. Okay, next in tomorrow's session we will be cross checking all of these column locations with respect to our parking and driveways, that is at ground floor. This will be your typical level, that is your first floor, second floor and third floor. We have done the column locations for these levels. Now this needs to be again cross checked with ground floor plan, where you will be having your car parks and driveways. Again, these columns should not affect this intent. Okay, if at all it is affecting, we need to again readdress these locations, which we will be dealing with that in the next class. Any queries? I hope your concern is addressed. Any more queries? Okay.
Sir, one more, the person architecture itself, he will only classify, sir, whether which type of sizes we need to use, regarding whether which type of blocks they are going to use, whether bricks or blocks.
Correct. See, that will be the initial consideration you need to make. You need to discuss with the architect, you need to discuss with the client, whether they are, which material is locally available very cheap and very frequently. In some places you may feel shortage with the solid cement blocks. In some places you may feel finding the clay bricks difficulty. So depending upon the local issues or the budgetary issues, the client and architect will be deciding on that. Okay, with that you will be moving forward.
So we mark both the secondary and primary beams with the same thing, or we will do some differentiation will be there?
No, that I will be discussing in the upcoming classes.
Okay.
Okay, we are
And
still in the very basic level. So far we have only discussed on the column positioning. Okay, anyway, we are defining our load path, and in the course of the load path, the primary elements are my columns. So far we have finalized the column locations to the typical levels, to the residential levels. Okay, and we have also done the primary beam layout to it. This needs to be cross-checked again with the car park and driveway layout. The column location that we have considered in the residential levels needs to be again cross-checked with the car park and driveway levels. And after finalizing the all levels column location, we are again revisiting your beam layout. It's a process. We cannot directly freeze this.
Thank you, sir. It's a wonderful session. You explained very nicely with the help of AutoCAD tools also. No one will explain like this. Thank you.
See, I hope you have followed it, but while you guys are practicing, you will get to know all of the, usage of all of these commands. We will be discussing it in detail. Now for the simplicity of explanation, we have, I have myself keep on drawing the drawings and explained you guys. Maybe after 2 classes, we will be having the same session. You guys need to draw it in the live session. And in the course of drawing the same, if you guys are facing any difficulties in usage of comments, we can readdress this again. Mr. Surya Prakasha MA has raised a concern, sir, how to practice without any drawings. And Surya Prakash, can you just unmute yourself and speak up? What exactly your concern is? How to practice without any drawings? Do you mean that you do not have AutoCAD? Or do you mean that you do not have the drawing what I am using now? See, I have asked you 2 questions. You have said yes, sir. I don't know which question should I consider. Okay, I will call you back. We can if you are hesitant in communicating, I don't think so. You have to hesitate because we are having very minimum participants here. See, you can notice only there are 4 to 5 members. Nobody will think anything. You can speak up openly. No need to hesitate. Okay? Surya Prakash, can you speak up?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello.
Surya Prakash, you can also speak in Kannada. Not an issue.
ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದು ಸರ್ ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ ದಿನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಡಿಸೈನಿಂಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಕಲಿಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತಾನೇ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು.
ಹೌದಪ್ಪ.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದ ಯಾವ ತರ ಏನಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್